Hello and welcome to this module called Principles of Paediatrics in Primary Care and the Acute Sector at Sheffield Hallam University. Hello, my name is Tanya Urquhart-Kelly and I'm your module leader, and together with my colleagues and my peers here at the university we will be delivering this module to you over the coming 10 weeks. So firstly, a quick overview of the module and what it involves. It's a Level 7 postgraduate distance learning module. You'll see DL used quite a lot, which undoubtedly you've worked out stands for distance learning. It attracts 30 credits on successful completion, and it can be taken as a standalone module, which indeed some of you may be doing, but it also sits within the APP framework, so a 30 credit module to complement your additional learning, perhaps even up to master's level. The learning materials, as I alluded to a moment ago, are delivered over a 10-week period, with week 1 being your induction and welcome week, and materials released on a weekly basis after that time, so as not to overwhelm you. And obviously the advantages of undertaking distance learning, hopefully, are primarily parking. We all know how difficult that can be, but also we're really conscious that you are clinicians out there working, undertaking shifts, night shifts. You've got families of your own, you've got commitments, there's going to be holidays, and there may even be some sick time. So by studying distance learning, it's incredibly flexible and allows you that flexibility to undertake the learning at a time and in an environment that suits you and everything else that's going on for you in both work and life. So what are the aims of this module? Well, it's been designed to allow you to develop the essential knowledge and skills required to assess, manage and provide appropriate treatment for children, young people and their families in your day-to-day clinical practice. I won't read the rest of the aims, which are there for you to read, but these can be found in your module handbook, which it's really also important to read, and I'll show you as we move forward where you can find the details of your module handbook. And here are the learning outcomes, which again are available in your module handbook. They're available on the module Blackboard site under the heading Module Documents. Please do read the module handbook. It's full of lots of information and details, not just about the aims and the learning outcomes, but also about assessment processes and procedures, contact details, what to do in the event of different scenarios, and it really does have an awful lot of really important information in there regarding your module that you're going to be studying with us. So I put this slide in here just to cover very briefly, because I'm conscious that when anybody starts a new course we're always really keen to learn about what the assessment is and what it involves for us. There will be a separate screencast under the assessment tab which goes into more detail about the assessments, with lots of support details linked into that also. But essentially there's going to be 2 summative tasks, the first of which will be a case study presentation, an electronic case study presentation. The way I'm delivering this to you now is using a tool called Screencast-O-Matic. Again, there are details of how you can use this on your assessment tab, but this allows you to see yourself on the video or hide yourself on the video. But I have put up my PowerPoint slides, I can click through them, I can talk over them, and this is the sort of style that we want you to deliver your case study in. It's an electronic case study presentation, but you could equally use YouTube or a similar platform if you have the IT skills and knowledge to do that. It carries 50% of the module marks, and as I say, there'll be more detail available to you on the assessment tab. The second summative task is a 2,000 word written assignment which complements your patient case study, and you will write about the care and your experiences of your care for your child and young person, and again this carries 50% of the weighting score for the module. So just a reminder again of why distance learning. It obviously gives us the opportunity to develop our technology enhanced learning skills. It's something we use more in clinical practice now. There's an awful lot of technology around us. It allows us to engage on different platforms and with different styles and delivery of teaching, and it's something we can use for our learners in our clinical areas as well. It will hopefully allow you to develop your expert knowledge of caring for common paediatric conditions in the primary and acute sectors of nursing. And as I alluded to right back at the beginning, you can study anywhere at a time to suit you. But just as guidance, the weekly learning materials equate to approximately 7.5 hours of study. So whilst there might actually only be a screencast-o-matic or PowerPoint presentation there for you to listen to, read through, that might only take up to half an hour, for example, associated with that there will be lots of other materials or some reflective practice for you to think about, make notes on. You might hear or see something that we deliver to you, and it might make you want to go off and do a little bit of further reading or looking in more detail at a specific area that has great interest to you. So if you build in all that time that you're spending doing those different aspects around the learning materials, that's pretty much what it equates to. So this means that your learning environment now, rather than being a classroom, a lecture theatre, a clinical environment, is your Blackboard site. This is where all the learning materials will be available to you under the Learning Materials tab on the left-hand side of your menu on the module homepage. And we'll be using this module site to communicate and share learning materials with you. As I said previously, these will be released at approximately 6 AM every Monday morning, and we do that because if you logged on day one and looked at the content, it would be incredibly overwhelming. So we pace you on a weekly basis so you can undertake that week's learning, or indeed a couple or 3 weeks if you're busy at work, if you've been on annual leave, if you've had some time away from work. You can build on your learning week by week. There will also be specific discussion boards available to you. We use something called Padlet as well, which is something that you can type into on the module sites. So if there's a weekly learning material that's been delivered by a professional, they might put a Padlet on there, which allows you to build discussion with them or ask more questions of them. Likewise, it might be that as a cohort you want to use the discussion boards to support one another regarding questions around the course, around situations that you've come across in clinical practice. And there'll also be collaborate sessions that myself and my peers will facilitate for you in the evenings, in the morning, hopefully to engage the majority of you around your clinical shift patterns. But regardless of all these methods of contact that we will have through the Blackboard site, we are also available to you to contact either face-to-face on campus, by telephone or by email. So in no way does it limit you being able to contact us having the weekly materials released. We are here at other times for you too. So again, I've already alluded to some of this in the previous slides, but just so you can understand and comprehend how your learning materials are going to be delivered to you, we're going to give you some case studies. We're going to be using some more of this screen-o-matic web-based lectures and presentations, hopefully some quizzes so we can get you to think perhaps about your learning before you participate in a week of learning, or maybe checking your learning at the end of a weekly delivery of materials. And as I said on the previous slide, live collaborate sessions via the Blackboard module homepage, and hopefully we'll be able to do a number of those over the course so we can reach a majority audience around clinical shifts and lives and annual leave and what have you. But do remember you can contact us at any time. We are reflective practitioners, and hopefully this module will give you an opportunity to do plenty of reflection. You've been seeing some of these children and young people in clinical practice well ahead of undertaking this module. So something that you learn now and you reflect back on yourself as a situation in clinical practice, you might want to write something about that using an appropriate model of reflection. We have to participate in revalidation. Hopefully this module and some of your reflective practice will allow you to build on that and use some of your reflections for your own revalidation purposes. There's also really fantastic websites that you can have access to via SHU and the Library Gateway. So we have clinicalskills.net, we have Spotting the Sick Child, and these are brilliant resources for you, again, to build on and complement your learning, but also for you to think about scenarios that you've previously seen in clinical practice or scenarios you see in clinical practice whilst undertaking this course. A way for you to build and cement some further learning and knowledge for your patient groups that you're going to continue to be seeing. So during week 1, which we also call as induction week, it's really important for you to try and sit down and use that as your week's learning and navigate the Blackboard site, look at the module homepage, have a read of the module handbook, look at ways that you can develop your distance learning skills. On there are a huge number of resources for people working and learning and studying towards level 7 if it's completely new for you. You might want to make contact with library services if you're more local, or you can travel safely. On one day you might want to book in a session for undertaking some literature searching skills, or learning more about the Library Gateway, which is an electronic library system for you through your SHU Space, or My Hallam as it's going to be called from the 1st of October 2018. So use that induction week wisely. Use it to communicate with your fellow colleagues on the course using a discussion board, but have a look at the literature and resources around there, navigate your way around and start to feel comfortable with using the electronic site. Your timetable for subsequent weeks, week 2 through till 10, are available to you on the Blackboard module homepage. So here is that module homepage. You can see here the title of the module, and this is the index down the left hand side here that you work from. So if we scroll down, we're on the module homepage at the moment. There is a page for module documents, and there is a page for staff details, and on here you'll see myself and some of my colleagues who deliver onto this module. And it's important that you can go back to this and you can use individuals' email addresses, because actually they'd really welcome you to get in contact with them if there's something that they deliver that you want to indulge yourself in more or want to know more about. Even our colleagues here who work out in clinical practice at the Children's Hospital, use those contact details, have dialogue with them and build on that. If we go back up here, there is a heading called support resources, and on here is the reading list online, also known as the module resource list. And within this there are details of literature that support your learning throughout the module, and there are some electronic links directly through the library, so you can access textbooks and articles that we as people delivering this module to you feel are really pertinent to your learning. There may also be additional references and resources on the final page of a presentation or a folder within your weekly materials that your individual lecturers might also direct you to, so have a look there as well. Library support, really important. You can contact the library and there's details of how to do that in here. There's information about academic support, increasing your academic skills. And then this is the assessment tab, which everybody is always really interested in, which talks you through and gives you the criteria for both task 1 and task 2. It gives you the marking and criteria assessment feedback sheet, so you can see exactly what it is expected to be included within your work. And there's some examples there of how to reference your case study slides, and there's also further down here suggested templates for PowerPoint slides in which to produce your case study. Again, these aren't mandatory, but there just might be something in there that would help you present your work. And then the absolute submission points are right down at the bottom of this page. So as I say, induction week, have a scoot around all of this and really get familiar with your site. Important dates, the submission dates for your work. This obviously varies by year. This is an example of 2018, 2019. Those are the important dates there for this cohort. And then the learning materials tab here, which is where all your learning folders are, and we've made them uniform so you can navigate them more easily. So as you can see there, they're listed weekly. When these appear on your pages, you will only be able to see those that have been currently released. So for example, you will only be able to see week 1 until week 2 is released, and then you'll see week 1 and 2 until week 3 is released, and so on. And if I just click into one of these, it'll show you the format, which, as I say, is uniform throughout. There's your aims, something to get you started, a main theme folder, and then a folder to get you thinking further. And every single week is formatted like that, so you know exactly what you're looking for on a week-by-week basis. I've mentioned there briefly the reading resource list. As I said, it has been broken down into weeks, with each folder containing pertinent information and resources for you to correlate with the week in which you're studying, but do also look at the presentations that are delivered by the specific academic, because there will also be references and resources perhaps at the end of their presentations, and maybe in that further reading or further thinking folder under that weekly tab as well. So finally, I've gone on about this quite a lot, but remember to contact us if you need any information or have any queries. Use this module as an opportunity to share your learning. If you have the opportunity to go and work with somebody who sees paediatric patients more than you do, has done the course previously, is a little bit more advanced in their practice working with children and young people, see if you can do or spend some of your clinical time working with them. Use that opportunity, because it may be that you discover a case study from doing that you can use for part of this module assessment. So use those opportunities in clinical work to enhance your learning. So thank you very much for listening, and we're really looking forward to meeting with you all and working with you all online for this distance learning module. Thank you.